Hello friends, in this video we are going to talk about this combat casualty drugs, all the important information about combat casualty drugs and what sort of questions can be asked to you in the prelims exam of UPSC and the mains exam of UPSC I will be discussing with you. So first of all, combat casualty drugs have been developed by the Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. This Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences is a laboratory which functions under the Defense Research and Development Organization DRDO. Now, basically, this INMAS, that is Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, has developed this range of combat casualty drugs because the recent Pulwama terror attack, it is being said that if when the Pulwama terror attack happened, when that car, struck into that convoy and there were a lot of casualties, so many people could have been saved, many soldiers could have been saved, and the death toll would have been a little bit lesser if there was an availability of this combat casualty drugs. So, what are basically these combat casualty drugs? These combat casualty drugs are basically those medicines which can be deployed during emergencies and which will help in extending the golden hour of gravely wounded security personnel. So, for example, a terror attack happened, a lot of soldiers were very gravely injured. Now, obviously, if immediate and emergency first aid is given to these soldiers, then their golden hour can be extended. Now, what is this golden hour, friends? Golden hour is that particular time during which, if appropriate medical emergency and attention is given to the gravely injured soldier, then his life in that crucial moment can be extended by some time. And in that extended time, that soldier can be shifted to a nearby medical facility and hospital and his life can be saved. And if no such medical attention is given to the soldier, then obviously the chances of the survival of that soldier gets very less. So this is what happened during the Pulwama terror attack. It was said, there was a report that if this combat casualty drug was there, then the death toll would have been lower. Now, what basically comprises this combat casualty drugs? So this is bleeding wound sealants, super absorptive dressings, and glycerated salines. We are going to talk about it. Chitosan gel is there. So basically, these combat casualty drugs, they can be deployed in the event of warfare in jungle, high altitude area, or if a terror attack happens. So here, friends, 2-3 keywords have come in front of you. One is the Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, and one is golden hour. Now, first of all, friends, one thing should come to your mind, that what sort of questions can you face with respect to this topic in your prelims exam of UPSC. So one question I have made for you, just have a look at this question. The question says, the term golden hour, which has been in news recently, relates to, and these are the options given in front of you. The first option is the best hour for astronomical observations in a day by Indian Astronomical Observatory in Ladakh due to least interference. The second option is hour during which appropriate medical interventions can save the life of a military personnel. Third option is that hour of work out in a day which can nullify the ill effects of disturbed circadian rhythm. And fourth is special time of worship in a prominent religious denomination of South Asia. Now see friends, when we talk about golden hour, and if this news we have not heard, if we have not heard and we have not read combat casualty drugs, or this news of Pulwama terror attack, if we have not followed properly, so what will happen? We will easily get confused in these four options. And obviously this golden hour is also a phrase, friends, and if you are going to search the meaning of this golden hours in a dictionary, that dictionary will tell you that that time period during which if medical emergency is given to an injured person, his life can be saved. So if you are not aware of the meaning, if you are not aware of the news, then you can easily get confused into these four options. However, you very well know now that the option is hour during which appropriate medical interventions can save the life of a military personnel. So these are the sort of questions which are asked in UPSC. UPSC has come in a habit from the last 3-4 years to ask question in this manner. That is, for example, one phrase or one term which is in very much news during the last 1 year, they will directly quote it in the question, and they will ask you that with which thing, with which particular topic this phrase or this word is associated. So here they can also ask that this term golden hour is associated with what, and options like these can be given to you. Okay. Then the very next important thing that we are going to talk about with you is this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. Now, before going into the detail of this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, we are going to have a look at a question which can be asked to you with respect to this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. The question is, which of the following statements with respect to Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences are correct? So the first option that is given by me is Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences is a laboratory associated with the Department of Atomic Energy and works under the overall control of Ministry of Defense. So this is the first option. Second option is the mission of INMAS, that is Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, is the clinical research in nuclear medicine and non-invasive imaging methods with a focus on biological radioprotectors and thyroid disorders. So this is the question, friends. The option will be something like this: only one, only two, both one, none of those, none of these. Okay, so these will be the four options. Obviously, these are the type of questions that are asked in UPSC. So before having a look at the solution of this question, first we will have a look at what is this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. So in the very first slide, I have told you that this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences is a laboratory of Defense Research and Development Organization. Now here what I have said, friends, here I have said the first option that I have given you is Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, a laboratory associated with Department of Atomic Energy. Now, why have picked in Department of Atomic Energy in this option? The reason is that this INMAS is having nuclear medicine. So when this nuclear thing comes, it is very easy to confuse you with this Department of Atomic Energy. So this was the rationale for me adding Department of Atomic Energy here in the option. So obviously the first option will become wrong because this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences is associated with Defense Research and Development Organization and not Department of Atomic Energy. Then, even if you don't know this, friends, then also you can eliminate this option number one. How you can eliminate this option number one? Just have a look properly at what I have written in option one. In option one, I have written, friends, Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences is a laboratory associated with Department of Atomic Energy. Till now it is fine. And then see, and works under the overall control of Ministry of Defense. And if you have read the basic information of Department of Atomic Energy, friends, you would be knowing that Department of Atomic Energy works under the direct guidance and control of the Prime Minister's office. Department of Atomic Energy, DAE, works under the control of Prime Minister's office. So obviously me mentioning Ministry of Defense here makes this option wrong. So two ways of solving this question: first thing, that you would be knowing about this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, and second, even if you are not knowing about this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, then also, friends, you can relate it with this thing, that this Department of Atomic Energy, this is not working under Ministry of Defense, this is directly working under the Prime Minister's office. So this makes this option number one wrong. Okay, then moving forward, obviously this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, this is located in New Delhi. It is involved in nuclear medicine research, this is in the name only, and it also responds in cases of nuclear accidents and explosions. Fortunately, till now, no such accidents and explosion has taken place, and we will hope that nothing like this happens in future in India or in the world, anywhere in the world. And obviously, friends, this Department of Nuclear Medicine, so under this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, there is a Department of Nuclear Medicine. And what this Department of Nuclear Medicine does, it offers a 2-year diploma in radiation medicine. And this course has been going on in this Department of Nuclear Medicine since 1968. And this makes this course the first formal training program in the nuclear medicine in the world. And if you are going to go on the official website of this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, this is basically in the DRDO website. It is a lab of DRDO. So everything about this Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences is present on the website of DRDO. So there, three core competence area of this in-mass have been detailed. First area is biological radio protection, that is radiation countermeasures. Area 2 is management of thyroid disorders, and area 3 is nuclear and medical imaging. So these three things are straightforwardly mentioned on the official website of DRDO. So obviously these three things will be covered in this thing. And also the mission statement of this INMAS, that is Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences, mentioned on the DRDO website is: the mission of INMAS is clinical research in nuclear medicine and non-invasive imaging methods with a focus on biological radioprotectors and thyroid disorders. Obviously, this statement is correct because it is directly mentioned on the DRDO website. So, first statement is wrong, second statement is correct. So, your option will be second statement is correct. So these are the type of questions which you can encounter when we are dealing with this topic of combat casualty drugs. Moving forward, friends, let us have a background information about this DRDO. We very well know about this DRDO. It is frequently in news, Defense Research and Development Organization. This is basically an agency of the government of India, and it has been given the responsibility of developing military's research and development capabilities. It is headquartered in New Delhi and was formed in 1958. So this date may be important for you because obviously when a question relating to DRDO will be asked, then date will most probably will be given in one of the options. And if you know the exact date of the formation, even the year of the formation of DRDO, you can easily eliminate options whether the option is correct or not. So obviously this DRDO was formed by the merger of Technical Development Establishment and Directorate of Technical Development and Production with the Defense Science Organization. Okay, if you can remember this thing, well and good. If you don't, then also it's fine. Then friends, it works under the administrative control of Ministry of Defense, Government of India. So obviously this DRDO works under the administrative control of Ministry of Defense. So this was from the perspective of prelims, friends. Now there is one more question that can be asked to you with respect to this combat casualty drugs as far as prelims is concerned. There can be an option which can say that this, which of these baskets forms the combat casualty drugs. So first of all, the medicines which are being told to be a part of this range of combat casualty drugs, you should remember your name. For mains also, for prelims also. For right now we are talking about prelims. So you should remember these names: glycerated saline, a special medicated dressing material, then chitosan gel, then hypochlorous acid, then nalbuphine injection. So it is expected from you that nalbuphine injection, hypochlorous acid, chitosan gel, glycolated saline, special medicated dressing materials. So these words you should remember in your mind, because in when questions related to prelims will be asked from you, these things may be mentioned in the options and you can be asked that whether they form a part of the CCD or not. So in that case you will say that yes, they are a part of the CCD. Now we will come to the mains aspect of this combat casualty drugs. If you look at papers, then it comes into GS paper 3. In GS paper 3 there is a section science and technology. So under science and technology, development and their applications and effect in everyday life. So obviously combat casualty drugs will be introduced, will be covered under this thing. And also there is one more thing: indigenization of technology and developing new technology. So under these two heads, combat casualty drugs will come in. So obviously this is a part of GS paper 3. So whatever notes you are making with respect to your preparation of GS paper 3 mains, you should make a notes of this combat casualty drugs there. Now first of all, if a question with respect to combat casualty drugs comes in front of you, how are you going to deal with it, friends? This is very important to approach how you are going to deal with this question in the mains examination. And one thing you should keep in your mind, that this combat casualty drugs is a very important topic, and there is very high probability that a question with respect to combat casualty drugs can be asked with you in the exam. So first of all, the very first thing which will come in our mind, that why there is a need for combat casualty drug. So you can start by introducing that when this Pulwama terror attack took place, as I have already told you in the start of the video, it was being said, a report said that if the combat casualty drugs was available with these military personnel, with the paramilitary personnel, then obviously the casualties and the death toll would be lesser, would have been reduced. Okay, so basically, these combat casualty drugs would have enhanced the golden hour of those injured persons, and obviously, they would have more time to go to the hospital and their life could have been saved. So, that is why this Pulwama terror attack highlighted in very strict and urgent terms that yes, combat casualty drugs is an urgent necessity. So this was one reason that there is a need for the introduction of CCD, and the most pressing region and the emergent region was this Pulwama terror attack. Then some other options and some other scenarios that is being told to us, that for example in most combat cases, friends, when a, you can say, a battalion is moving or a group of 15 to 20 soldiers is moving. So in a group of 15 to 20 soldiers, friends, there are very limited medical equipments and there is mostly only one medical personnel with them. Now that one medical personnel has been assigned the responsibility of looking after the injured soldiers. Now sometimes it happens, friends, that that medical person gets injured first. No matter in the combat, that medical personnel is not at the front line, he is at the back. So obviously if any soldier is injured, he is going to treat those soldiers. But in some cases it happens that that medical personnel gets injured himself. So in that case, it becomes difficult to treat the injured persons. So obviously this thing says that there are already less medical equipments, there are less medical personnel accompanying the combat soldiers. So obviously the need of combat casualty drugs is amplified in such a scenario. So this is one more reason. Then the third condition which comes in front of us, that friends, what happens that many a times in battlefield conditions, the condition, the geology in which you are fighting is not very suitable. Most of the time it is not suitable. For example, the battles are found in forest. There is a lot of insurgency in India, this Maoism thing. Obviously most of the battles, the paramilitary forces are fighting this Maoist cadres in jungles only, so there is jungle warfare. Then many times this battle is taking place in hilly terrain. Now in the hilly terrain, the geology is not at all suitable to the soldiers. Okay, also many times temperature in the hilly terrain drops a lot, so it is very cold, so the situation becomes very much, you can say, not conducive to the human life. And many times there are, you can say, fights in those territories where vehicles cannot go, so help in these places will reach late. So obviously if the help is going to reach late, there should be some mechanism in which the soldiers can save themselves till the help reaches them. So that is why these combat casualty drugs are very effective. Then friends, what happens that when a security personnel is gravely wounded, so what happens that 90% of the wounded soldiers, they succumb to their injuries within a few hours, they die within these few hours. So after they are injured, the next 1 or 2 hours are very crucial to save their life. And if this first aid is given to them in the first 1 or 2 hours, their golden hour can be extended. That is this period during which they have to be saved. If they are given the first aid in time, then this golden period will be extended. And if this golden period of those soldiers is extended, then the time which is being taken to shift these soldiers to a hospital will be increased. And obviously if the soldier is being taken to a hospital in time, there are very high chances that he will be saved. So that is why the need of this combat casualty drugs is enhanced, friends, because this golden period can be extended and their survival chances are also extended. Then friends, one more important thing, that these armed and paramilitary forces of India, they are national treasures, friends. First of all, they are doing a lot. This is a service of the highest honor, I should say. And you should also say this is a huge amount of efforts and investments have been involved to develop them into paramilitary forces. They are a great human resource for the forces, for the military, for the armed forces of our country. So if they die, this is also a loss for the nation. This is also a loss for our forces, paramilitary forces, armed forces, and this is also a huge setback for their families, friends. So helping them, saving them should be of the highest priority, and in order to fulfill this priority, CCD is one very potent way to save them. So these are the few, you can say, needs that why this combat casualty drug is required. And when a question with respect to combat casualty drug is asked with you in the exam, friends, it is expected from you that you learn the names of these combat casualty drugs, and you should know that what these combat casualty drugs do. For example, this glycerated saline. Now, this glycerated saline is a fluid which will not freeze till minus 18 degrees Celsius, and it will be very useful in handling trauma cases in high altitude areas. So this is expected from you that you learn this thing, so that when question is asked to you and you have to write that what these combat casualty drugs do. So in the heading you are going to write this glycerated saline, and then you will tell that this is a fluid which is not going to freeze till minus 18 degrees centigrade, and it can handle trauma cases in high altitude areas. So what it does, it actually, what happens, friends, is this traumatic edema fluid. Now when this fluid, you can say, collects in the tissues and cavities of the body, especially in brain and lungs, then it can be life threatening. So this glycerated saline can prevent this thing from happening. Then the second thing is special medicated dressing material. So you're going to write this in the heading. Then you will say that this is 200 times more absorptive than normal dressings in the bleeding wounds. So this is basically cellulose fiber based dressings, more effective in stopping bleeding and will keep the wound clean. Obviously, this dressing has been made in such a way that antiseptics, antibiotics and curcumin can be impregnated in this dressing, and obviously this dressing in such a manner is formed in such a manner that it will slowly release these drugs into the wound. Okay, so its healing properties are very advanced. You have to learn these things, friends. This is very important, because if this question is asked in mains, you have to write these things with headings. Then chitosan gel, if this chitosan gel is being applied over the wound, it will form a film over the wound. Obviously platelets and red blood cells aggregation would be there and bleeding will stop. So this chitosan gel is very effective. It can seal the wounds by twin action. One is hemostasis by chemical action and filling action. See, if you don't know hemostasis by chemical action, then you don't need to know it, what is happening biologically, but you should learn it, that chitosan gel helps or works through hemostasis by chemical action. So if you are going to write this statement in the exam, it is going to get you marks there. Because what will make you different from other persons who are writing with an assumption? Obviously, these exact statements will going to get you marks in the real exam. Also, this chitosan gel can be used on the wounds in the limbs and abdomen and thorax. Thorax is the part which is in between the neck and the abdomen. Then comes hypochlorous acid. It is a disinfectant which is used in jungle warfare, friends. It is used to treat this infection named as necrotizing fasciitis. Now this necrotizing fasciitis is a bacterial infection which affects the soft tissues highly. So it also weakens our immune response. So that is why this hypochlorous acid is also very important, friends. And then finally comes the nalbuphine injection. This nalbuphine injection, it is a 10 mg injection, friends. It can reduce pain during mutilating war injuries. What will happen? And it is also said that this nalbuphine injection efficiency will increase if it is given through submental sublingual route instead of intramuscular or intravenous route. Now intravenous route and intramuscular route is a method of giving injection in which the injection will be given on your hands, on the joints, on the soldier, or in the thighs. And when the injection is given to you through this submental and sublingual route, then obviously that injection will be given you below the tongue. So when it is given to below the tongue, it is going to get injected in the nervous system directly below the tongue. So it will be more effective and its effect will be visible very soon. So this is the thing done by this combat casualty drugs. And one more method of concluding the answer would be something like this, that this fifth option, this you can also use as a conclusive. In that you can say that this armed and paramilitary forces, they are national treasures. A huge amount of money has been invested, a huge amount of efforts have been invested in order to train them to get involved in the armed forces. Obviously, if they die, then it is a huge problem for their families, huge setback, financial setback, emotional setback, all types of setback is there. So it must be a priority to save them, and this CCD is one way of moving towards that priority. So this statement can also be a conclusion for you if a question with respect to combat casualty drugs is asked. So with respect to prelims and mains of this combat casualty drugs have been discussed by me in this video, friends. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.